like I said, it's 10:27. I'll shoot for 10:35, if not earlier. Couple things. Some of you have heard this already. A week from Thursday, we're having a tornado drill at 1:45. All right. And Kelly told me that there's some kind of a sign out by the exit right out here that says supposedly now we can go to the three of the classrooms that are right across the hall. Those are designated tornado areas. I'll check, make sure we've got the right rooms, etc. They think it should take about 15 minutes. So literally, you'll probably hear an alarm or something go off at 1:45. We'll figure out exactly where it is. Take your valuables, so take your purses, etc. If you want to take your laptop, that's fine. I am supposed to shut off all the lights, lock the doors. I'm supposed to be the last one out. And Kelly and I were talking about this morning. I'll probably get a head count of how many of you there are. We'll all go to the same place. Ideally, if all works okay, by 2 o'clock, we'll be done. That's the first thing. Second thing, John sent me this thing this morning, or last night, I guess. He said before his back went out, Laura was, she had some questions about the differences between having the main activity class implement SeekBar Listener or using an anonymous interclass. So what he did on his own, which was really nice, is he went out and did a couple of examples and put them out there on the system. So if you go out here, I know that's kind of hard to read. That's too big to read. But if you go out there under the P drive, and again, I can send this to you. I'll run this off and put it on the board over there. He's got some examples, so I'll just run off that email that he sent me. Yeah, not everybody knows that that's even out there, though. All right, so that's the first couple things. Next, as far as Android, for your second, actually it should have said third, but evidently this guy who wrote this can't count. For your last Android assignment, I want you to complete the program you've been working on, hopefully, all semester. Next Tuesday, we will discuss Chapter 8 in that class, which is the address book application. That's the last lecture that we'll do. Chapter 9, I'm going to, which is just on how to submit stuff to the App Store, etc. I'll do that on my own and put it out there. We do not have classes 2 weeks from today. Everybody hear that? There are no classes 2 weeks from today on the 21st. It is a teacher's in-service day. Now, people always ask, well, are the labs open? I don't know. All right, I'd say my guess is, if I have to guess, it'll be no, because they have a lot of, in the afternoon, they have a lot of breakout sessions, and they tend to use lab rooms to hold those breakout sessions. But I'm not sure. The school will be open. If you want to come in and try, that's fine. So I'll make sure I change this, but that should say third, and that should say third. So try to utilize the stuff we've gone over in the last several chapters is what this says. All right, now some of it may not make sense, because some of the stuff in there, for example, when we get into Chapter 8, we'll use a database. And you might say, well, geez, Jeff, my app has absolutely nothing to do with a database. Okay. But, again, it should be a little bit more complex than that, than like build a simple calculator where you enter one number or your BMI thing. Okay, it should be more than that. So here's the schedule for the rest of the semester. Lab all this week. Next week, I'm going to lecture on Chapter 8, which again is the last lecture. Lab next Thursday. No class 2 weeks from today, then lab, 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 lab. So we end this with 7 labs. In fact, out of your, all the periods that are left, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 periods if you don't count the in-service, okay, 10 of them are lab. All right, questions on that? Because I'm just going to go over the other one now. So, for the iPhone, for your second and last, and there have been 2 in there, I'm starting to grade the first ones. So, either by the end of the period today or by Thursday, you'll have those out there. All right? I did do one pass grading people's Android, but I've got to go look, because some of you have turned in stuff since then. All right, so I'd like you to, again, to complete your perpetual program, the one you've been working on all semester. It should contain what we've gone over this semester, including, and this is some of the stuff we're going to start on today, Today we're going to go over segues and NS user defaults. A week from today we're going to go over core data. And 3 weeks from today, the 28th, we're going to go over sprites. We're going to write a simple game as a class. All right, it's going to be a game I can write with you in 2 hours. So it's not going to, it's not going to be anything of any complexity, but at least so you'll have been introduced to that. All right, so the schedule in here. Again, today we'll talk about NS user defaults and segues, and we're going to do a to-do list as a class. All right, I've already got 3 or 4 programs done for you. As always, we will pass out the at the beginning of class, I'll pass this out, and it'll have all of that stuff on there, including the to-do list we'll do as a class. I think there's some benefit to doing the to-do list as a class. I'm even going to give you hard copies of all of the stuff that I put in there. When we put it in, you go, oh my God, there's 2 files in here, one's got over 100 lines. It's because I commented the heck out of it. I won't expect you to put the comments in, but you will have that also. All right. So again, then Thursday will be lab. A week from today, we'll go over core data. We'll do an app in that. And then a week from Thursday will be a lab. 2 weeks from today, again, no class, same thing as I mentioned before. 2 weeks from Thursday, all right, lab. And then 3 weeks from today, we'll go over this sprite kit, little gaming stuff. And then we'll end with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 labs. For both classes, I want all your work done and turned into me by the time I go home on that Thursday. I don't think that's asking too much, because that's more than that's really 5 weeks from Thursday, is what I'm saying. And again, you'll have, so what? That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 hours of lab in here. And on the other one, which of course I closed, at least 16 hours of lab. Questions on either one of those? I did talk with John, and I mentioned this to you the other day, about using FileZilla or something and copying that movies project that I went over with you in the DIP class. And I asked him about putting it out there in Site5, etc. And I said, can the students do it? You know how John is. He gave his little wry smile, and he said, yes and no. All right. And I said, well, what does that mean? He said they'll be able to do some of it, but not all of it, because in order to do some of the stuff, you need to have access to cPanel, which I thought you had access to. According to him, you don't. You have to be an administrator. So a decision has to be made as to whether or not to give students administrator capabilities or not. But he said, I can do it, and he said he and I will walk through it, make sure it works, then we'll do it again in front of you. All right? Then he said, if we can go and have him set up the database for you or whatever, he said he thinks that you'll be able to port the stuff over and you'll be able to bring it up on there if you want to do so. All right? And I said, he's like, well, when are you looking to do this? And I said, well, I was kind of shooting for hopefully trying to do it with him and me next week. He said that would be fine. If you haven't seen him, he was in yesterday. He cannot, it hurts like hell to sit. All right, so he also has been using, I think, that chair that's right over there because it's the straightest one, etc. And so if he goes to help you, and don't say, well, John, go ahead, sit down. He doesn't really want to. All right? And like I said, he said he's feeling better, but he's not, definitely not 100%. I said, what happened? He said, I don't know. He said, I dropped something. I bent down to pick it up. And he said, I felt like somebody stabbed me. So, all right? Questions? So that's it. Again, I will lecture at 3 today for at least an hour in the iOS class, the Swift class. And of course, as always, we'll tape it. All right, so that's all that I got. In what? In iOS? We're going to go over core data in Swift next week. Today we're going to talk about NS user defaults, and you're going to be able to see how you can save something, okay? And when you stop the app and start it up again, it's still there. Okay, that's with the NS user defaults, but that's really for simple, smaller things. Next week we'll go over core data. Core data looks a lot like databases. Okay? It's not databases. They make a big thing out of saying that on there. It's not databases, but it's like databases. So we're going to create a real simple, and I say real simple, I mean real simple contact form, which is like name, address, and email, something like that. And then I'm going to show you how to go into core data and set that up. So I don't know if I answered your question or not, but I answered it as best I could. And like I said, and then 3 weeks from today, we'll look at a simple Swift game. Okay? And that'll be it for the lecture. Other questions? All right, that's it. I'm going to put this lecture both under the 156 and the 153 classes.